Hello class, I just wanted to follow up with one last video on this Photoshop stuff, especially the sort of non-photoreal rendering things, and I went through a bunch of steps to show a variety of techniques to sort of get this one, and it sort of, again, showed many things. It's a little probably overdone in sort of its blurriness, but I was just showing steps there. So I want to show some alternative takes just to give ideas of what you can do, maybe give some quick tips through this video on the different looks as well, but really look for yourself and come up with something good. So here, this is just a reminder. This is actually what the previous one looked like before I ran that sort of filter on it, just to remember. Which is, this is an approach where you go for a non-photoreal, but you don't take it too far away, which is an interesting concept that you can sort of work with. This one is just sort of doing the same sorts of things. I just was a little stronger on some lens flares. I was a little more dramatic on some of the background filters, but less so on the building itself, just to read it clear. Again, there's almost an infinite number of ways you can do that. I was also a little stronger on some of the burn and dodge tools here on the building, just to give it some style. There's lots of variations you can do with that. This one, again, lots of similar things. I'm showing it because I did a couple things I sort of like. I really like how the background's looking, and even the grass too, a little bit. And what I actually did there is I broke the grass foreground apart in Photoshop from the trees, and then for each one, and for the sky as well, I made two layers. I duplicated them. On the bottom layer, I put a watercolor. I used watercolor filter without too much shading, and then above it I think it was like paint daubs, and then I did lens blur to blur it out, and I blurred that top layer. I then made the opacity way down, and so it gives it this sort of smooth, if you will, blobbiness to the background image that I think looks really nice, or could look really nice. I tried to do some things with the building as well. I tried to like reverse some tonal qualities so that the dark shadows of the siding and stuff became light, and that goal sort of worked out. You can sort of see that, but I don't know that the whole building itself is fully working yet. But obviously I did a lot of options. I didn't necessarily work on all the details of them, but it does give it a different look. And again, anything can be mixed and matched between drawings here that you might like. Here are some. A lot of times I'll like black and white drawings too, especially in a building that might have a punch of color like this house does, and then maybe just punching that color out, as you see here, can work pretty well. So that's simply, I just desaturated everything except for the one piece to get this look here. Moving here, I did a night image, and just because I think night images can look good, I played with the sky. I really changed the color to sort of give it a more unphotoreal sky look, to play off the yellows of the interior glow. Now, because at this point in time it was how many Photoshop one I've run of options, I decided not to re-render. If you look in my other videos, you can see how to do a night rendering using the light functions in Photoshop, and that will take a re-render, and will take some time, but you can get a really great effect. So what I did is I took the shortcut method, which was just to make the windows look like they were glowing using traditional Photoshop tricks, which can work too. I probably should have, in a different video series, I show them both together and how they can be used together, and really to get the best quality I should have done that. But I just wanted to sort of, again, give an idea here that go do a night shot, re-render it. You can also do some glowing stuff without having to re-render it to a certain extent, and this can be an option for someone. And remind everyone that you can go look at those other sort of videos. This one I thought was sort of fun here because I really spent a lot of time pulling back all the image. I wanted to make the lines read, like a drawing, because the lines were in a layer, and the lines are on in all the rest of them for the most part, but you don't really read them strongly, which is fine. I wanted to make one that read sort of strongly. So I made the background non-white, because that also helps a lot. And so to get like the streakiness of the sky and ground, basically the grass layer and the sky layer each have a mask on it. That mask is a gradient from black to white, and on that gradient I applied texture with as a horizontal there's a setting in the texture grain horizontal that you can do, and it basically gives that look. And I did things like stroking edges of a lot of the images, and I applied other filters to sort of take it all back a lot and add this stroke. And I thought it came out pretty nicely. I like it. Add some grain and texture to the building itself, as well at the same time as taking down the tonal quality of it. So a completely different look that once you sort of get rolling on doesn't take too bad once you know the tricks. And I think I have one more here, which is sort of just, I want to try to play up one with more of shadows and more black and white again, but and so I just tried this one. Not my favorite one, but it's sort of bold and interesting. In this case, I play with turning the lines on and off. I actually just ran a filter to make them a little squiggly in this case, but you can play with all these. So hopefully, just looking at these is by no means are any of these exhaustive, all the styles you can do. By no means are any of these sort of finalized version. Each one could be taken and probably pushed further, but I just want to give it a sense of what you can do in Photoshop. And I purposely, for the most part, use only Photoshop for this, but of course you can integrate with some Illustrator work and other things to sort of accomplish other varied effects as well. So good luck and have fun, and I can't wait to see what you have.